Yo, yo. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? People who are tuning in for the first time over here, either at Twitch or Discord. If you guys have not been here before, this is our office hours session that we do every Tuesday night. And again, it is designed to answer your guys' questions. So again, it's just a live Q&A. Whatever questions you guys have about the game, offense, defense, MUT cards, anything really. Just ask your questions. There should be a chat box. Browns, I see you raised your hand. There should be a chat bubble that you can actually type into the chat box rather than the hand. So if you push that hand button again, it should take that down. And then you should be able to type in whatever your question is. And then I can just show it here on the screen. And I see AntCap's in here as well. So AntCap will be joining us here in just a second, voice-wise. Do you hear us, Ant? I can't hear AntCap yet, but we'll hear him here in a second. Yeah, just get your questions in. There we go. I can hear you now.
How you doing?
Hey, let me double check that you are the right volume. Can you talk again?
I can.
All right, I gotta turn you up a little bit so people can hear you correctly on the recording too. You should be good now. But yeah, if you guys are new, again, we just answer the questions as they come in. So we're gonna answer questions in the Discord first. So if you guys are over at Twitch and you want to get your question answered for sure, just type in !Discord and it will take you to our Discord, and then just join the office hours channel once you get in there. Again, you can join that completely for free. If you are a sub to Huddle, you do have access to all of these to watch the VODs back. So if you do miss something, or you just want to look at all the other questions that we answered throughout that Tuesday, you can always look back and obviously rewatch those if you are subbed to the website. But we do open this for live for everybody who wants to watch it, whether you are subbed or not to the channel. What's the best? We're gonna start to jump into the questions as well, because there are quite a few questions coming in over at Discord. What's the best defense? What's the best meta defense to run right now? So, Lima, I mean, if you're just talking pure meta, my favorite pure meta is gonna be the dollar loot blitzes. Me personally, I think the best defense in the game. Got a thunder over there with the Twitch Prime on Twitch. Appreciate that. I think the best defense right now is 3-3 odd. I like the Vikings playbook because you have 3-3 odd. You have 4-3 even 6-1 if you'd want to go to that, and you have the 1-4-6, which is going to have those loops there. But I can show you the base 1-4-6 loop that people are running here real quick. Let me take my X factors off my players. I am running a budget team right now, guys, so you're going to see a lot. I have a lot of free cards here, like this Drake Mays free, obviously Edelman, Julio Jones. I mean, I have a lot of free cards in my lineup right now, aside from my offensive linemen. I did get that Rocket card. It's been the best safety I've had all year. Do you have him, Ant? Ant popped out. I don't know what happened there, but let's get into it here again. Best meta defense. I'm just going to show you the Vikings 1-4-6 loop. That's going to be a very easy defense to run, and your average players are going to struggle to beat it. So let's go over that first. So what we want to do here is, let me get my other controller turned on, and all of these, again, great questions in the chat. Like I said, we are going to answer them as they come in. So if you have not gotten your question answered yet, do not think that I have skipped over or I'm not going to answer. I will get through every question that is in our Discord chat, and then we will get to Twitch at the end. So again, with this 1-4-6 loop, what we want to do, let me reset it here real quick, back this ball up a little bit. What we're going to do is, first of all, I like to turn auto flip off. Okay, so we're going to turn auto flip off and then auto alignment set to base. And then we're going to come out in the play. I like to, oops, wrong one. I come out in the double safety walk down play, and I'm going to have crossfire. I'm going to have cover 4, and then I like to have cover 2 in my audibles, but I'm going to come out in this double safety go play that you see to the left. And then what we're going to do from there is you're going to see that it's going to bring, and King Chaos, I see your question as well. This is the blitz, and I'll show you guys how to block this as well, because we can't block this. But you can see here, those safeties are going to walk down. We're then going to audible to crossfire, okay? Now, when we audible to crossfire, you see that those safeties stay down. Now, what people are going to do from there is they're just going to put both of those safeties in inside quarters like that. And then they're either going to shade down or shade up. It just depends if you want hard flats or curl flats. We're just going to shade down. And then you're going to zone off one of those blitzing linebackers. Okay, you don't want to use, you don't want to blitz both of those middle linebackers because one of them is going to be our user. So we're just going to zone this guy off here. And if you want, you can contain if they're rolling out. You don't have to contain to get the loop to come in. What you're going to see here is that guy, you see at left of screen, middle linebacker has that looping angle from left to right. So when they say hike, you're going to see that he's going to loop around there and he's going to get there after the quarterback. So you only have to send 4 people. You can play obviously 7 back into coverage. And this is going to be a very, very easy blitz to set up. Once you get the hang of it, you can see here, again, he's going to loop around there. We're able to get that pressure. And you can see we have a nice cover 4 shell on the back end. And then we're just going to switch stick around. Now, if you want, you can blitz the other guy as well. Right? So let's say that you want to blitz the guy on the right middle linebacker. We can do the same thing. We're going to come out and double safety go. We're going to audible to crossfire. Put both of those safeties in inside quarters and shade down. And then again, this is what it will look like the other way. And you can see you can loop that guy from right to left. So we have an option to loop from either left to right or right to left. This is going to be a really easy blitz to set up. And this is really one of the more meta plays right now in the game. So yeah, that's a good meta defense to run. And again, it's also in the Vikings playbook and the Patriots playbook, which also has 3-3 odds. So again, you can run our 3-3 odd that's on the website. Where we really dive deep into that formation, but you can also add this in as another blitz to go to. I use this as well, even though obviously this isn't part of our 3-3 odd game plan. I still go to this play at times, depending on what I'm facing. So that is Limo. Ancap, are you back?
And I don't know what, because I get booted.
Okay. Avery, what's the best quarterback and abilities for them? So best is not, I mean,
Subject to opinion.
yeah, it's not, it is a subjective opinion there. I will tell you what most people are running on their quarterbacks is somebody who can get master tactician, gunslinger, and gift wrapped are what most comp players are running right now. There is a decent amount of quarterbacks who get that in general. The problem is it takes all of your AP unless you use a certain quarterback. I will put in our chat here who gets that. Just to show you guys, there's a decent list of quarterbacks who will get it. It's just, again, certain ones will get it for cheaper. And those are the ones that I would probably go towards more often than anyone else. But I will put it right here in the chat, Avery. So if you can see right there, I just linked you. Every one of those quarterbacks gets the stack that I was talking about. Like I said, Master Tactician's nice because you get Hot Route Master, you get Quarterback Playmaker, and then you also get Conductor. So those are 3 nice abilities to have on your quarterback. Gunslinger, obviously, will help you release the ball quicker. With Gunslinger, you do overthrow the ball at times, but I do think that's depending on the quarterback as well, because I used Matt Stafford the other day, and Matt Stafford did not overthrow anything for me. He threw perfect all the time. It's just his pre-snap animations were horrible, so I would not advise getting him. But that list right there is a list of good quarterbacks that you can grab. Again, if you're not wanting Master Tactician, you could go Hot Route Master instead. Master Tactician's 1 extra AP, but it does give you those 2 extra abilities. I know Antcap doesn't use Gunslinger. I don't think he does. He wasn't earlier in the year. He's not always been a big fan of that. But I would...
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't like it on. I don't think it's needed on the Josh Allen release. I do use it on any over-the-top release, but when you go to 3 quarters, I don't think that it's absolutely needed. I think you can definitely get away with it depending on how you run your offense. Now, obviously, if you're in a spot to where it does get a little bit more zip on the ball, so. But I think that's the only one I don't use it on. So I was using Penix and Allen for a while. And I didn't think Gunslinger was absolutely needed. But now that I'm using Marigoda, I'm using it because his release is different.
Yeah, so like I said, I would just check out that link. All of those quarterbacks get the 3 abilities that I mentioned. Again, you don't have to, like ANCAP mentioned, for people like Josh Allen, he doesn't necessarily think that Gunslinger is needed. Same thing, I believe, with Vic. I think he has the 3 quarters, and also Matt Stafford, like I was mentioning. Um, so you don't have to put all those abilities on, but that list of quarterbacks, I would probably stick to one of them. I would not get anybody that's not on that list, even if you're not using the exact same abilities. But yeah, that's where I would go with that. What's the next question? How do I keep from throwing interceptions? So it depends why you're throwing interception or how you're throwing interceptions, I guess. Typically, most people, there's 2 reasons why people throw interceptions, in my opinion, the most. And you can correct me if you think differently. One is they're just not reading the field correctly, right? So you're not reading where the defensive players are. You don't know what routes are designed to attack the defense your opponent's running, and you throw it into traffic. The other way that people throw interceptions a lot is they panic, right? They're getting pressure, they panic, they would rather just throw that ball. They're scared to take that sack. They're scared, or not scared, but they forget to throw the ball away. So those are the 2 real ways that you're going to throw a lot of interceptions, and both of them require different ways to fix those, right? So the second one, if you're just panicking when you're under pressure, first of all, work on your blocking, right? So understand how to block all the blitzes that you're going to face and be comfortable in the pocket. And also be okay taking a sack, right? Be okay throwing the ball away. We always talk about if you put a player on a smoke screen or a flat route, you can throw it away no matter what, and you will not get intentional grounding. So as long as you have one of those 2 routes on the field. Also speed outs, if you leave it at the 5 yards, that also will throw it over their head. So those are a few options that you have if you're just panicking. Again, understand that even if you do take a sack, that's much better than throwing a ball into double coverage just because you don't want to take that sack. 2nd and 15 is better than your opponent having the ball. The other one, if you're just reading the defense wrong, that just comes with reps. You just got to keep working on understanding how you want to attack cover 4, how you want to attack cover 3, how you want to attack man. All the coverages that you're going to face on a day-to-day basis, you want to have an answer for, and you want to have route combinations that you want to go to against those individual coverages, and just know where your reads are. And again, be comfortable with those reads, and that just comes with practice. So if you're throwing a lot of picks, and you said, yep, it's people who run a lot of zone defense. So again, just understand how to attack the certain zones, right? So if you are a sub at Huddle, I'm not sure if you are, but we talk a lot about how to beat zone coverage in the game plans. We also have our route combo Bible that can help out there, and our meta buster. We talk about different things also. But again, cover 4, cover 3, cover 2, you should have an answer for all of those. You should have a couple of answers for all of those, and just go to those when you're seeing those zone defenses. And once you start to understand the routes that attack those zones, you're gonna, just naturally throw less picks as long as you're making those correct reads. And Ancap, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I think you did pretty good with that explanation. I think one of the things I've always been a believer is have a pre-snap plan. Know what your progressions are. Whether it's a lot of Madden is about high-low reads where you got somebody going underneath and somebody going on top, or it's an outside inside read. Right, we have a flat in a return route where you're basically taking that read there, and then there's a second read. If you go and just call plays and you don't go to the line of scrimmage knowing that you have this or that reads, you're going to basically go ahead and struggle and panic more often because of the fact that you've got the ability to now um, have that plan. That's kind of what, and if you struggle with that, that's what a lot of, your game plans and sites help you with and whatnot is really just to break it down and saying, and then from there, once you kind of figure out what your favorite reads are or what you're most comfortable with, kind of build your offense around that. There's a lot of people that love mesh concepts where it's two drags going, 2 different ways, and they make that read really easily. Or a high low where it's say a flood concept to the outside where it's a streak flat and a corner route, and they can read one defender and not even going high or low, or in the middle of the field, right? Getting comfortable with what reads you're good at. That's the starting point. But you have to put the route combinations on the field to allow you to have success. Because I think if you don't have that plan and you don't put those route combinations on the field, then you're going to get in trouble. And then the second thing I would say is don't be afraid to take your first read. A lot of times when people get themselves in trouble is they pass up the first read, thinking a second read's going to get open, and now they're forcing it into traffic. So if you can kind of use those two principles in conjunction with how Pick'em explained it, I think you'll be a better passer. And then, from there, it's up to you to kind of make the decision on who's open when. I mean, that's not anything anybody else can do. You can just make it easier on yourself to make that.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, and just for those that are new coming in here, I know that we have quite a few names in here that I've seen that I've been asking questions. So again, really appreciate you guys tuning in, and they're great questions. I just want to let you guys know again, if you are new, I do answer them in the order that they come into the Discord chat. So again, if I have not gotten to your question yet, do not think that I am not going to get to it. And AntCap and I will not get to it. We will be getting to it. It's just again as they're in the order that they come in. Also over on Twitch, I see a couple people have been chatting as well. We will get to your guys' questions at the end. Again, if you do want your questions answered first, and quicker, over at the Discord in the office hours channel, I will put the link in there to our Discord. It's completely free to join, but that's where we're going to answer them first, and then we'll get to the Twitch ones at the end. J-Dub, what does the spotlight receiver mechanic actually do? I don't think it's very effective in the game. It doesn't really do much. I have tried to test it in years prior. I haven't done anything with it this year, to be completely honest, but it's never done anything meaningful on the field for me to worry about using it. Ancap, do you have any other? I mean, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to shade your coverage towards that specific receiver, is how I understand it. I just don't think that it actually works the way it's intended.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's supposed to, like they're the way I explain it. There are grids in your zone, right? Like your outside third has responsibility from this to this. If you spotlight a receiver and he goes in that zone, they're supposed to be more likely or going to go more towards that guy than the other guy in the zone. But it just never really worked the way that you would intend it. I never really saw anything to tell me that it was worth using in the last few years. I know there was some, back like Madden 17, 18, like when the first years was coming out. I felt like I don't know, it was one of those placebo effects where people, kind of think where you can, you know, um, ID somebody on a run play, just do it because you can, and they think it's good. I just never thought that there was anything there that would indicate it was worth doing, especially when it's an extra adjustment prior to the snap. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and for instance, this rep here, just so you guys know, I spotlighted this player. You can see that guy on the flat doesn't really do anything different, right? He's still staying back. He's not doing anything crazy. So you see here how this yellow covers this whip. Oh, we already threw it. That's why he broke. But I'm going to just spotlight that whip real quick. Just to see if anything... Again, I don't expect anything different to happen here. You can see, I mean, nothing really meaningful happens there. So I would just avoid worrying about that. As an adjustment, it's just going to take more of your time to not really do anything for you. D-Gib, what's the must-have ability on defense? I say mid-zone KO. I think that's the most important. I think Ancap, you agree
If you're
with that?
playing zone,
Yeah, if you run zone,
right?
yeah. I also
Yeah,
think
if
you
you're
should
running
run
man,
zone personally, but
yeah. I mean, it all depends on what type of player you are. Like if you're a cover zero blitz guy,
that's true.
send and pray, then mid zone's not gonna do anything for you. If
Mid route
you're
KO is good if you run man, guys. Mid and
right,
short,
so
mid and short route.
it's going to basically give you that opportunity to get people on mid um on the man coverage one, the mid KO, on anything basically from 10 to 20 yards, right? Mid zone, you do have your 10 to 20 on the outside, but you do have a little bit more in the inside. The numbers, it's actually from 0 to 20, so it's just a lot of ground that you can get those hits, I would say. And they also give you a little bit more of a break on the ball. Um, it is what basically everybody's looking to build their team around. Most people have 4 to 5 of them on the field, and the best and most expensive players are the ones that have it discounted. So that should probably tell you why people why they're so expensive, because those are the guys that everybody wants, because they're trying to get as many on the field as possible.
Yeah. What's the best defensive playbook and formation in it? Again, Pokey, I think I answered a little bit earlier. I think the Vikings is the best personally. I think Antcap's in. Are you in Patriots still?
I go back and forth. Be honest, I think they're very, very, very similar. Vikings and Patriots when it comes to there's a formation here and there that depending on what your preference is, they both have um, the main ones that we personally use at our site. But there are some other ones in there that you can go in and out of. They both have 4-3 and 6-1. They all have 3-3 odd. They both have 1-4-6. Patriots has some things like 4-3 odd, and it does not have 3-3 cub though, which the Vikings does. So it's kind of like, what is your preference on what you're running, and then from there, um, you make a decision based upon that, right? If you only want run one formation, it doesn't matter, right? They're the same plays in each. It's not like at
Yeah,
least with the Patriots, they have the cover 2 in the 4-3 even 6-1. I don't know if the Vikings does.
they don't. They also have cover 2 man, I think.
Right. So
Which
so
like
there
yeah,
are some things like depending on what you're using, there might be like if you only ran 3-3 odd and 4-3 and 6-1, it makes sense to go to the Patriots, not the Vikings, because what you would have as extra in the Vikings doesn't help you because you're running two formations. So you basically want to look at the formations that you run and find out what's the best playbook that has those. That might be different for everybody else. So, but yeah, I go back and forth between the Vikings and the Patriots based upon things that I'm labbing that week.
yeah, and I've been in Vikings for a little bit now. And my go-to formations 3-3 odd. We have a whole game plan on it here at the site. Um, if you guys have not seen it, again, if you guys are new to the Discord, if we let's see. That website right there. Again, if you guys have not checked it out, I know some of you are just in the Discord, not seen the website yet, but we have a whole 3-3 odd game plan, which is in Vikings, and I will go to 1-4-6, 3-3 cub occasionally, and like I said, 4-3 even 6-1, and 3-4 odd as well. But those last couple that I mentioned are just like situationally based, or if I'm just really struggling and I can't get stops, I'll try to mix it up. But um, I think um, Vikings Patriots, and if you want dime 3-2, which is another pretty popular formation. Multiple D is the most popular playbook for that. They have a good mix as well. Um, Again, if you just want dime 3-2, there's quite a few that have that. But the best mix, I know HuddleGG, a guy that we talk to a lot. He is in dime 3-2, and he likes the multiple D. And I looked into that when I was talking to him one day, and it does have a nice little mix if you're running that. That's not my main defense, so I did not switch. I need something with 3-3 odd personally. That's why I are the ones that I'm in. King Chaos, and again, over at Twitch, I do see a lot of questions coming in. We will get you guys questions after we catch up in our Discord. Again, if you guys do want your questions answered first or in a quicker manner, if you enter them into our Discord over in the Office Hours channel, we do answer those questions first for people there, but then we will get to your questions in Twitch as well. So again, um, we will get to them. Don't think that we are skipping out on you guys. I do see them coming in. Appreciate all of these questions. They are really good. We will get to all of those. King Chaos said there's this cover 4 blitz in the formation die 1-4. So we talked about the blitz itself. I'll tell you how to block it real quick. So again, they're going to start out in the double safety walk down most of the time. Then they're going to audible to this crossfire. And then they're going to put both safeties in quarters. And then either they're going to shade down or up to make it hard flats or curl flats. Doesn't really matter for the blitz. And then they're going to zone off typically this guy on the right. So the best way that I like to block this, I do like to have a running back blocking to block it 100% of the time. And we do talk over at the website and the MetaBuster about a bunch of different ways to block it. Again, whether this defensive tackle is shaded right or left, whether they're looping from right to left, whether we're blocking a running back on the left, right, no running back at all of those require different blocking to pick up this blitz. But we do talk about all of those. I'm just going to talk about this one here. It's my favorite. If I really want to make sure that I pick this up, this is the one that I'm going to go to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to block that running back on the same side that the looper's starting on, right? So again, looper's starting on the left. I'm going to put my running back on the same side that he's on. We're going to block the running back. I like to half slide. You can do this two ways. You can either just double team. I like to half slide towards that defensive tackle like this and then double team him. So you're going to see here that our center and our left guard are going to double team the D tackle. What's going to happen here is the right guard and right tackle will actually double team the end to the right. Left tackle's one-on-one, and then our running back's going to step right into that B gap where the guy's looping, and he's going to pick up the looper. You see how the running back has that red blocking line towards that looper? That's exactly what we want here, right? So again, we're going to say hike. You're going to see he's going to step right in there. He's going to pick up that block. But we would have all day that we would need to throw that ball. So you can see there, we just step up in the pocket. Now I will give you guys one more as well. If they are running this and we want to keep our running back on the same side, or sorry, on the opposite side. So we're going to keep him on the right side here. If we block him, I do like to ID this safety here. If they're doing the double safety walk down, if they're not doing the double safety walk down, I'll ID the slot corner. And again, from there, you're just going to see the running back's going to look right to start, and then he'll get his attention back, and he'll pick up that blitz, and that'll give us all the time that we need to throw that ball. So those are two easy ways that we can block this with that running back left or right against that loop blitz. Any good running back that have good pass blocks. So I just started using this David Montgomery, and he's been really, really good for me. Aaron Jones was solid. I think David Montgomery has been the best one I've used lately. Sean Alexander was really bad for me. He missed blocks a lot. And again, by miss, I mean he got shedded really quick. And again, your running backs aren't going to hold blocks forever. But Montgomery has done a really good job. I think that he's been my favorite, definitely in the last month or so that I've used at running back to block. And I block a lot. I block. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, he's gonna be the best one that's not the out of position guys, right? You got the Vita Vea, you've got Tavondre Sweat, you've got some of these guys that just because of their sheer size and strength and they're not gonna get pushed back. And basically that's the one concern you can have a lot of times when you're having a blocking player, depending on who they're picking up, they just might be, overwhelmed by the size difference, right? Montgomery definitely, I think, is like around the 220 mark. So he's got good size for a running back, and he's got good ratings. The other guys, like I often put a backup running back that was one of those big guys, just to make sure that in passing situations, and I know I need to block it. I'm not trying to fool you that I'm setting up my running back. I just want to be able to protect. So you can definitely have a two back system to help you with that as well.
Yep, and that's the one, what he was mentioning about of guys getting pushed back. That's one thing I like about Montgomery, too, for the actual running back players that aren't those out of position, is he has 83 strength, I think, which is pretty good, pretty high for a running back. So he doesn't get pushed back. Because, again, most of the time when you're blocking him, he's blocking a linebacker, right? His job's not to block a D tackle coming through. He would get pushed back against a D tackle. But typically, guys that he's blocking, he can match them with strength. He's done a really good job for me, so... And I like the way he moves as well. That's one reason why I went away from Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones actually played pretty well for me. I just didn't like the way he moved as much. I like the movement when actually running the ball with this player more than I did with Aaron Jones. So that's why I'm on David Montgomery now.
It looks like he's got a smaller build than I expect from him. He's a pretty good sized guy, and the actual build looks like he's a little bit smaller to get between those holes and whatnot.
Yeah, no, he's done really. I've only used him just today, or today and yesterday, I think, chat. But he's played really well for me in the games I've used him in. Hovey, is the backyard quarterback ability worth it? I would use Master Tactician if you can. I mean, I don't even know. Is backyard quarterback in CFM?
It's not on any MUT right now. I mean, and what it is just basically
it's just playmaker
and master and playmaker. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Master Tac's a better one for sure.
Yeah, unless somebody comes out with backyard, quarterback with like 1 or 2 AP, and it makes sense to where you could add conductor on it for cheaper than you can master tech. It doesn't make sense to do it. So, like you'd have to be like 1 AP when it comes out in mud, and then you add 2 AP conductor. Now you got a 3 AP, right? Something like that. If that's what you want. If you don't use conductor and you use playmaker more than you would in any other regard, then that's up to you. But I think most people would say that if they had to rank it, it would be Hot Route Master is the most important, and then Conductor, and then Playmaker when it comes to the stack of Master Tack. And because Backyard Bar doesn't have it, it just doesn't make sense to use it unless it's a huge AP discount.
Yep, and Avery, what's the best offensive playbook? So my favorite and Antcap's favorite right now is the Giants. That's the one that we both run. Antcap did a huge game plan on it over at the site, over 200 plays. over 7.5 hours of video just for that one game plan. It's going to have answers for every single thing you can think about facing in this game. I think it's my favorite as well. I've been running it for a few months now. I am going to post something in the chat here. We just did a video the other day about some of the top playbooks in Madden right now. So check out that video over at YouTube. I'll put that in the or the Twitch chat as well if you guys are interested in watching that. Again, we just talked about 5 of the best playbooks, and again, Ancap and I were even talking about when we were making the video. There were 10 playbooks that could have made the list, right? There's a lot of decent ones that didn't make the list. So don't think that you have to run one of those 5, but those are 5 that a lot of people are running right now. They have some good meta formations, but they also have certain, like the Giants isn't more of a meta formation or meta playbook. It's more of a, it's a ton of unique routes, a ton of answers for everything you'll face. A lot of RPOs, which are nice against certain metas as well. So, but we talk about meta formations, we talk about meta playbooks, we talk about off meta, everything in that video there. So check that out. Ancap, do you have anything else to say about playbooks? I know you're using Giants, but
Yeah, I think EA's done a really good job of, you gotta highlight the highlights, right? There's some things that we would love to have better in the game, but the fact that they've been doing some playbook updates throughout the year is probably one of the biggest wins I think in Madden 25 this year. And so uh, there are things that are getting added, every couple months now, and that's changing the landscape of which ones are the best, right? Like before, the Eagles, they got the trips tight end flex that was really popular for a little bit with them while close, and then there's some different ones that are emerging that some of the formations that you loved in other playbooks, and then it goes to a different playbook, and now you have to look at that playbook differently. You really got to just look at what are your favorite formations, what's your best style, right? Personally, I'm not a bunch player. I think bunch is a little bit less used this year than others, but if that's what you are, then Giants wouldn't be for you, except for the fact that they do have this new tight Y off formation that's got 3 hidden plays that looks like bunch, right? That you can use a lot of the same concepts with. And then, if you like the normal Y off close, which is really, really popular right now, there's a lot of different formations that, different playbooks that just got added, that with some other stuff. So it's really about finding what you're comfortable in and going from there. I think it's a very subjective offensive defensive playbooks, but I can tell you right now, I've looked at other playbooks, and I keep on going back to the Giants when it comes to it's because everything that I'm looking for as far as the routes and solutions and everything is in there. I do like the Saints. That was the one that the newest update. And it has a lot of stuff that we have in the Giants. It's kind of like that mix of running gun, mix of Eagles, and mix of Giants. In my opinion, I think that's a really good one. But it doesn't have everything that I want and the routes that I want. So again, it's subjective. It really is.
next question is JDub122. How do you throw the ball to those goal line fades? So I don't throw these as much. I actually threw them quite a bit in previous years. I like them more against man coverage than I do zone personally. But I'll show you what I was doing in previous years. So for those of you that know, certain routes have them automatically. But if you just put a fade when you're inside the 10-yard line, if you see that B route there, that's the route he's referencing. I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, or if you're thinking of something differently, but I believe this is the route you're talking about here. Again, you can put it as long as you just put a normal fade on a receiver inside the 10. It's the 10, right, Amp?
I believe it's 5 to 10. Yeah.
Um,
I always looked at it as long as the fade goes into the end zone. Is the way I looked at it. The route
gotcha.
itself.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, what I was doing to throw this, I was using freeform actually to make this throw where I wanted. But if my guy ever got that animation right there where he got the inside leverage, I would never throw it. Right. So again, this is something that you want your guy to get outside leverage. So if you say hike and you see your guy go to the inside like this, get your eyes off of this, especially if it's man. I mean, they're not going to press like that unless it's man. But if they are, let's say that they are shading that to the inside, right? And we're going to see this outside release. What I'll do here is I'll just pass lead that to the right like that. Now you can see my guy, because of his press animation, didn't get in there how he wanted. So let me shade over the top here actually just to show you. But again, you can see what I'm looking to do, right? I want him to get outside leverage on the press here. Now on this one, could have maybe lobbed it to the back corner because he beats this guy so bad. But you can see here, we're going to pass lead this away from that guy, right? So we're trying to hit either that back pylon, or I even would hit this front pylon in yours pass as well. So you're going to say hike, you're going to say here, you're going to see we're going to throw it right over there and be able to try to get our feet in bounds. Again, if you're not using freeform, I don't know how effective this route is with Antcap. I don't know if you've thrown this at all with Classic. I don't
I wouldn't. Yeah,
know if
I don't
it's...
like it against man coverage that much. I mean, to me, it's like a lot of people like to play cover two hard flats in the red zone. So that stutter route can definitely be something that you can hit there. But against man, like the way Yet used to do is getting that outside leverage. I just personally I go a different route with it. Like so, I would put the A or the RB on a streak, the other one on flat, and then because he's basically gonna allow the hard flat out there, yeah, something like that. It's a good route combination to be able to like, get that guy to basically go over there and hit that. That's where I think you're going to get your better use out of it. Is when people do that rather than trying to fit it against man coverage unless you get that throw down. So I know a couple years ago you were throwing that all the time to that front pylon.
Yeah, I haven't thrown
Um,
it in like a year and a half, so that's why
right.
it's a little rusty for me.
And you can also get that route a lot of times on plays that have stock fades already in them and motioning them to the inside. So like if you have a like say Y trips off week, do we have any fades on the outside that that are fades to start off the play?
Is that slot
I don't
fade
know if
one
we
or
do.
no? Does that not count?
No, I don't. No, I don't believe that's it. It's going to be the outside release. So the Dick Ross won't work. But anytime you got a solo receiver that you can motion inside, if they start off
Four
with it,
verticals,
it's four
right?
verticals. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of times, if you don't know that, you can move that guy in. So say you want to do it from like the 15-yard line because or whatever the case is. Usually, when you move that guy in, he'll turn into one of those fades anywhere on the field. So if you want that route, not just in there, it gives you that opportunity. And see how that has that ability to kind of basically depending on what type of coverage you're going to have, it is something that can pull down coverage or be something that can beat somebody. So just kind of understand that is an option if you're looking for that route, and it's not in the stock play.
Yeah. Is there a certain defense that contain bunch quads, made of the inside post, and the corner route gets me? The corner, I just play a backed off cloud flat Hovey, to be completely honest. So I just do like a cover 4 shell, or I just go baseline and I put a cloud flat out there. The post I typically use for myself, or I'll switch like back to the safety. Who has bunch quads? I'll go to that. Yeah, I'll go to that playbook in a second when I switch playbooks, Hovey, and then I'll show you a little bit. But yeah, that's really what I'm doing for the corner. I'm just backed off cloud and the post. I'm just going to user that typically myself. And then sometimes I'll put my yellows on 5, and then I'll switch stick to a safety to take that post away. But it just depends what they're running around it. Crowley
Ravens has
yeah.
empty quads, not bunch quads. Bunch quads is in. Let me find it here for you.
How's that?
It's empty. I think it's empty bunch quads, right? Empty bunch quads is Seattle. So Seattle's the only one that has empty bunch quads.
Okay.
And then the other one's empty quads. So it depends on which one you're looking at.
Yeah, I will go to that after. Hovey, is it the bunch quads one that you we're looking at, or is it empty quads? I know they're similar. Crowley, I appreciate that, man. If you do end up subbing to the website, there is a there's a thing in our Discord. It's under subscriber only. It says instructions. It'll give you a way that you can link your account, where you can actually access some additional channels in our Discord. So if you do, and you see how Hovey's name is orange, your name will change orange like that, just to show that you're subbed as well. Pete, why do players get a question mark over their head when hot routing them? It's a specific home field advantage, Pete. So I believe it's the Chiefs and the Steelers. It's just their home field advantage. You can't do anything to avoid it. If you're playing on their home stadium with their jerseys, if you're in MUT or if you're in regs as well, it's just something that happens. You can look here. Let me see if I can get
linked
Yeah.
article. I can look for it if you want to.
Yeah, if you can get the link to that article. HuddleGG did an article on that where they go over all of the home field advantages. Like I said, I think it's Steelers and Chiefs who have that specific one that you're referencing, but it's annoying. um, I mean, the only way you avoid if you see the question mark pop up, just do the hot route again. Just keep doing it until
Yeah,
it
just
takes it.
makes you basically have to go and do multiple times the hot route just to get it going. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like basically talking about like the noise and what it is. It's hard for people to do it. But here is the all the home field advantages. It's in the Discord here, and that's going to give you the ones that basically talk about it. So you said you thought it was the
Steelers
Steelers.
and Chiefs, I think.
Steelers aways teams hot routes have a chance to fail on 3rd and 4th down.
Yeah, that's the one.
And then
Oh, the
the
Chiefs
Seahawks is the one I hate that has the distorted play out on 3rd and 4th down.
yeah, the Chiefs is
Um,
away team audibles have a chance to fail. So that's when you're audibling the whole play rather than just doing hot routes.
and then the Saints have they can get incorrect routes on 3rd and 4th down.
Okay, that's
So
horrible.
and the thing you
I
have to
put him
know
on a
is it's
whip and he
not
goes on a slant.
right. Um, what you do have to know is that the uniforms have to match the stadium in order for it to work. So it's not like you're just playing in Saints Stadium with the Falcons uniforms, which is terrible to think about. But that in general won't work. You have to have the match.
And that's Ultimate Team. If you're in regs, if you're that team,
Yeah,
I think it'll just do it
I
for
don't
you.
think you can
But
change your because you're part of
I don't think you can
you're wearing
change away
your
from their
outfits.
jerseys. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would imagine it'll be in. Even if you put the wrong, like the away jersey, I think you'd probably still be fine. JW, when will EA allow injured players back on the roster? I only play regs. It's annoying that I can use them in ranked, but I can't use them in unranked. I do not know the answer to that, JW. My guess would be at the end of the season, after the Super Bowl. I would guess is when they would reset that back, but I do not know the answer to that. And Kev, I don't know if you know the answer to that, but
Yeah, I know it happens every year, and it's kind of one of those like frustrating things where I don't know. I've always felt like if you get kicked in the nuts because your favorite player gets hurt in real life, now it's the same in Madden. It's like, come on,
yeah,
like I don't know, it's just the way I feel. But
I don't want him to.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's just one of those deals. But that's how
I
I feel.
can't watch him. I want to use him at least.
Right.
Crowley, can you tell me 3-3 out is the best defense? Yes, I can. 3-3 out is the best defense. It's the one that I use. I think Ancap, you're showing it more than anything else, right?
I am. It's my base, but I definitely go in and out of other things depending on styles of play and success. Right. I think oftentimes people try to make yourself only one defense that's got to stop everything, and if you're not having success, sometimes you got to change it up and find what's next to make it there. So I do think that you should have more than one formation of defense to be as successful as possible.
I absolutely agree with that. You guys know I love the 3-3 odd. Obviously, we did a whole game plan on it. But I still have 1-4-6 in my back pocket if I want it. I have 2-4 in my back pocket. I have 3-3 Cub. I have 4-3 even 6-1, 3-4 odd. I have a bunch of backups there that I can go to if it's not working for me. And there's not a single formation in the game, like Ancap said, that you can run no matter what. Like people are running dollar against me all the time. I will run you out of dollar. I promise you, I will keep running, and you won't be able to stop it, depending on the type of plays you're running. And that's why people need a secondary. So we'll get them to go to 4-3 even 6-1 or something, to get them into something that we're more comfortable attacking if you struggle against one thing or the other.
Right. And you can like if you're playing pick 'em and you get them on 3rd and 10, you're more likely able to use dollar in that situation because now even though he might be able to run for 5 or 6 a pop, you're okay with that. So understanding who you're playing, what you're doing, and being able to go back and forth and knowing that some of the defenses you have are going to be good situational defenses and some are going to be, you know, make them work down the field type deal. So have more than one formation in your pocket. I think is the best thing we can tell you.
Yep. How do you throw back shoulder throws? So you have to use freeform if you want to throw a true back shoulder. If you're talking like real, I mean, guys are throwing in real football. I like to personally throw them to the inside. Or sorry, to the inside receivers. That's what I was meaning there. And I'll show you the reason why is, so this, I don't think I have my freeform settings set the correct way, but you see this streak here to the A. Let's just look at the A here. As soon as we see that guy turn his hips, we can throw that like that and then go and click on and catch it just like that. So I use freeform there to make that throw. I don't know if you can make that throwing cap on classic. I know pass lead's a little different. But again, as soon as that DB turns his hips like that, we're gonna just pass lead this down and away. I'm using freeform, and then you can see I click on, and then that DB is not gonna be able to go catch that. It's much more effective against man coverage than it is zone. Also, it's much more effective against cover 0 because they're gonna be shaded to the inside naturally. Where cover 1 or something like that, they won't be. You can run it to the outside. It's just on the outside, you don't have as much room, right? So if we look at the outside here and we go to throw this, we don't have as much room to go catch that. Now, I can catch that one, and I dropped it anyways, but you just don't have as much room to work with. So I like to throw them to the inside receivers. It's not something you want to live on, though, I will say that. But you can make it the right situation. Like, if they're running something like a cover 3, you can always try to get to this outside guy. But again, maybe like if we're on the left side here, you'll have a better opportunity to throw that. And he's still tight out there. I guess it depends how wide that receiver is there to the outside, because again, we're still not going to have a lot of space here. But again, as soon as that guy, yeah, it's just, like I said, it's hard to throw to the outside receivers because there's not a lot of space for you to work with. Now, you can get like crazy with freeform, but I would recommend not doing that. It's hard to be consistent with it unless you perfect it in a way that I have not been able to. Again, I wouldn't live on it. I actually did use it a ton. Was it last year, Amp, against cover 0 or 2 years ago?
I don't know. These years blend into each other, but the first year Freeform came out, whenever that was.
Yeah.
2
I
years ago?
loved it. I loved it against, yeah, whenever Freeform, I don't remember honestly. Whenever Freeform came out, I did really really well with that method of throwing the ball again against cover 0. That's really where I ran. I don't run it. I've never thrown back shoulder throws against zone coverage personally.
Yeah, I mean, there is use for it. And if you want to be somebody who perfects it, there's definitely ways to get in that lab and try it. I just think that I don't know. I don't know if the effectiveness is worth to put the time into it. With the ability for switch sticks and the ability this year to um, anticipate it, right? Like last year, there's some things that you couldn't do at all. If you do the free form, well, if I know you're free forming, I can easily, switch stick it and undercut it beforehand, right? Where in the past that wasn't as easy. So just understand that the defense has a little bit more opportunity to defend it than it has in the past.
Okay, yeah, Hobie, when I switch playbooks, I will look at that for you. What's a good base red zone D? I'll show you what I like to do in the red zone. As a base defense, again, there's never going to be a defense that's going to there's never going to be a
One size
defense
fits
that
all.
works against everything you face. So this is just something that I do a lot. I play cover 2. And what I do is I do this on any goal to go situations. If they're at the 20, I'm typically, I'll show you what I do at the 18, 20, but like, let's say they're at the 9-yard line, right? And I'm going to come out and cover 2, and it's first and goal from the 9. I come out and cover 2, and I play the sticks. So I push Y, and then I do LB, and I play the sticks. And what that tells our defense is everybody who's underneath, right? So everybody that's not a dark blue deep zone, right? So in cover 2, you're going to have 5 of these guys. You have the 2 cloud flats and the 3 yellows. They're going to play right to the sticks, or the first down marker, which in a goal to go situation is going to be the goal line. So what you're going to see here is when we say hike, all of those underneath guys are going to drop right back to that goal line and just be a really good, almost like a wall there, stopping our opponent from getting into the end zone. And the good thing about this method is if they're at the 9, those guys are going to drop 9 yards. If we're at the 4 and we do play the sticks, they're going to drop 4 yards, right? So you can see here, they're only going to drop to that goal line still, right? They're not going to drop any further, because they're going to go to that first down marker, which in a goal to go situation is that goal line. And that's just a nice way to get 5 underneath defenders, really walling off that end zone line. And then you still have those 2 safeties to help out over the top as well. I think that's a really good defense to go to in the red zone, especially, like I said, inside the 10. If it's like the 18, what I really like to do here is I will come out in a have one here. But let's say I have my 2 corners backed off, and I'll just play a cover 2 like this, because it's gonna be hard for them to get a corner over the top of it. I'll user this guy in the middle, and if I'm really worried about them trying to go short over the middle, most times I'll let them throw it on a drag if they want to. But if I'm really worried about that, I'll drop one of my linemen into a spy, and so it'll look something like this. And then I'll just sit here, and you can see we're gonna again, just allow the pressure to come in. The really bend don't break defense, but it's really tough to beat once you get to, again, you can see here, like, there's not a lot of spots for them to go with the ball. And this is our user here in the middle to take this away. This guy does a good job for the drags under the middle or underneath. Make sure nothing gets over your top in the middle or over your head there in the middle. Do you have anything specifically for that?
No, I mean, it really depends. Most people inside the 5 are going to try to run the ball, until they have to pass. I think that's been probably the last 2 years. It's been that way. I think you have to be understanding where people are going to attack as well. Most people are going to attack low inside the hashes or deep on the back pylon. Sometimes you'll get the guys in a streak or something to your tight end up the seam, but um, so I think route recognition is big and understanding how to, if they don't initially go inside the hashes right around the goal line, and kind of look for which pylon, the back corner they're attacking, and then kind of switch stick to an outside player to go do it. I think a lot of times, I see too many people are um, sitting there basically, flat-footed as a user trying to figure out where it's going. If it ain't coming at you, go find where it's going, right? I think that's the biggest thing. And you can do that in a lot of different things, but you have to have a defense that's going to be um, able to stop the run. And then when they're showing, formations that they're not stopping the run, you know, understanding meta and whatnot, right? If it's in bunch, you're going to be looking for, a return route. If it's in, trips tight and flex, you're looking, depending what side it's coming from and wherever it is, more off close, you're looking for, the tight end to be on a motion flat as the first, read. Like, you got to understand what you need to defend based upon what they're coming out of. So I don't think there's going to be that one thing you can do. It's just, if it's not something that you're used to, have a base defense. If it is something that is coming, you just have to understand that you want to take away their first read and adjust to their second. And if you give that away that first read, it's obviously a touchdown, right? So knowing how to defend things based upon what's getting open quickly is probably your best bet. So just kind of understand it and start looking at when you're getting beat by things or you're seeing things often, knowing what formation that plays are in, and know that's the most likely play that they're going to run because they've seen people run it successfully. It's been run on them successfully, and it's just basically everybody duplicating things. And that's why I think meta is a little bit easier to play against. It's because it's predictable, and so I think that's one of those things that you just have to understand when it comes to just anything in Madden. When it comes to uh, things that are common, make sure you take away those things first.
Yep. And to his point when he was talking about worrying about that back pylon, if you are in a cover 2, you can put these safeties in outside thirds to help protect out there as well, rather than a deep half. So you see here the deep half where it's at on the field, where an outside third is going to get much wider for us. So you can always put your safeties on deep thirds, but then you're more susceptible to the seam route. So again, as he was talking about, there's never going to be something that'll stop everything. But if you're worried about that back corner, I would put those outside thirds. If you're worried more about the seams, I'd keep the deep half or even put an inside quarter there.
I usually use red zone inside the 10. Like, I don't consider this as red zone where you're at now. I think you could play almost any normal defense outside the 15. I don't think there's too much advantages or disadvantages in what you're running there. I mean, obviously there's, you can get away with a little bit more pressing because they can't lob it over your head. So think about stuff like that to where you may not be able to do a press defense against something because they can get that instant. Well, here they don't have as much room to throw it over your head, so you can be a little bit more aggressive for that type of stuff. So just understand that there's different ways that you can play different the closer you get to the end zone than you would if you weren't. So
Yep. Yeah, like that. I this defense here when I play a backed off cover 2 from like the 18. Typically, if it's like third and 15 or something, I've got a sack or something, or I got a sack and it's 3rd and goal from the 18. This is always my go-to here, just because I'm gonna let everything go in front of me, um, and just again from there I'm going to obviously just rally and make that tackle. But I agree with that, Cap. I At the 20-yard line, I don't view that as the red zone really. My offense and defense changes once I get inside the 10.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost run everything except for a bomb play, from that 20-yard mark.
Yeah.
That's in your playbook, right? So you have to defend the same way.
No, absolutely. Also, people over at Twitch, I see again. I am just gonna keep letting you guys know for those that are newer in here. I see a lot of questions coming in on Twitch. We will get to your questions at the end. Again, we do answer all of the questions in the Discord first on our office hours sessions here. So if you do want to get your questions there in the Discord, that's the link right there. Just join the office hours channel once you get there. But again, we will get to them. Next here in the Twitch channel is Seahawks. I asked in Twitch, but I had to walk away. Is Run Stuffer good on Madden Beast? Let me see what Madden Beast has real quick. I haven't used him personally. He has the Are you okay? Run Stuffer. So yeah, Run Stuffer. What am I thinking? Run Stuffer is the. It's not Run Stop. Yeah. So Run Stuffer is going to be good. Yes. I would not. I don't like it personally. Just because I can stop the run without using abilities on the D line. This year, I think there are ways to do that. But if you do struggle to stop the run with your normal defense, that's going to be inside stuff, and no outsiders essentially, on your player.
Right.
So it can be very effective. It's just 2 AP for me is a lot to stop the run with one player when there's ways to attack that as an offensive player if you know how to run the ball well. Like I can double team your guy and he's negated and he's not going to do anything against me. So, is it effective? Yes. But it can be countered fairly easy in my opinion for somebody who really knows how to run the ball. Andrew, I've been running spread on college football. In a play like Y cross on a hash mark, would it be better to send the out route to the short side or to the wide side? Short side feels like it never gets open, but wide side feels like it's susceptible to a zone defender breaking on it. I would run it on college football, especially on the hash. I would run it to the wide side, the out route. I know the exact play you're talking. I would run the out route to the wide side just because you want more space to be able to throw that out route, and it's also going to give your crosser more space to work across the field. And then obviously you have the streak, you have an out, you have the crosser, you have that little post curl a lot of the times, and then you have the running back on a swing. Yeah, I would run the out route to the wide side. I've been facing a lot of cover 3 match, and I try to run a drag go comeback combo, but it hasn't been working well. Any advice? So I'll show you a really easy cover 3 match beater AntCap teaches on the site. And also, Robert mentioned about the weakness in cover 3 being the seams. Cover 3 match can be a little bit different just because it is a matching style defense. So, I mean, you still can hit the seams, but it is a tighter throw than normal. But if you come out in a 2x2 formation, spread Y slot weak is going to be perfect for us. And this hitch seam play is going to almost have it set up for us anyways. We come out in cover 3 match here. I'm in a Joe cover 6, I think. Hold on. So cover 3 match, we're just going to come out in this hitch seam play. All we want to do is have a streak to the slot and put the outside guy on a smoke screen. So instead of having those hitches, just put them on a smoke screen. And AntCap, you said you like to run this to the short side, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so we want to run this to the short side to be most effective. And what you're going to do is you're just going to wait for those guys to switch, and then we're going to lob this ball over the top. It's going to be an easy over-the-top play for you against cover 3 match. Again, this is assuming that they have their zone drop set to default. If they're not, it's going to be more like a traditional cover 3, where we have a lot of bomb plays on the site. But you can see here, this seam, again, this guy, the seam flat's supposed to take this guy if he goes vertical. But in Madden right now, for some reason, he adjusts down to the smoke screen once he's 15 yards downfield. It's a really late switch here. If he would just pinned down on this right away, I'd be okay with that. I don't like that he follows him for 15 yards, then leaves, but he does. And you can see, obviously, these guys are trying to switch right here. This guy's trying to go down the smoke screen, and then this guy's trying to get that streak. And that just allows us to throw that ball over the top. So, really, again, you can do this at any playbook. Every playbook has a 2x2.
Doubles works the same way. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. I said, when they switch, you're just going to lob that ball over the top. And you can see it's an easy completion.
with his route combination, he should be able to hit the comeback once they basically match on the outside because it's going to turn into that ability for the man coverage. So
What did he say? He said
if you do
drag,
run that,
go, but how are we doing a drag, go, and a comeback, though?
I think just a comeback on the X and a drag by the A is what I was picturing it.
Are you on a 3x1 FC, or are you in 2x2? 3x1?
I was picturing it the opposite way.
Okay, so something like this. Is this what you're doing to the right side? Okay, yeah, the comeback should be open. Like Antcap said, I think. Because the seam flat will match, yeah. So just
Yeah,
throw
you're
that
just going to
comeback
basically
every
make that.
time. Because the seam flat is going to match the vertical route, the go, because you're not sending anything to the flat here. So again, the seam flat's going to match there, and then that leaves no flat defender out here. I mean, this guy's in man coverage, but comebacks will torch man coverage. So I mean, this guy's matching here, but he's not going to be able to play that. Again, and having this guy on a drag is actually smart, because if you put him on a flat, it would change how this is played. Putting him on a drag here does keep these guys matching. So that's a fine route combination for that. And obviously, if they play back or leave the middle of the field with the user, you can always throw the drag. Yeah, you can still use that. There's a lot of things you can use. Go ahead, Ant.
I would suggest going with it like with the verticals type play to where the middle receiver is going to have that inside type of route where he's going to have basically a seam route because if you're doing this as a 3x1 because that route does get inside of seams, right? Because cover three match plays outside leverage. So if you look at the A there, right? Because he plays outside leverage, he's going to have that ability to go inside with it. I don't know. Did you just motion that guy over that way or no? I don't know if it because I think it changes with the splits on. Yeah, so like
I motioned the running
trip.
back over on that play.
Yeah, yeah. So in trips, the A is going to be closer to the numbers. So you don't want to do. You want to come out in trips when it comes up.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so it gives you more room. So like trips tight end. Yes, see verticals. The middle receiver is going to be closer to the numbers that way. So now it gives you more room to do it. So if you do that same route, the Y is going to have a much better opportunity where you can hit him inside a lot of times right there.
That's
And at least makes them have to worry about it because for some reason cover three seem I don't say for some reason they do it on purpose. They play outside in. So that they give up way too much leverage in my opinion. And that is a play that you can hit pretty easily. You can also stem it down a little bit. You can see how it gives you that first step right there. If you stem it down, he's not going to get any vertical. It's going to go straight that way. Look at the Y. You stem it down. See how it goes straight that way? It also gives you a little bit better of an angle to throw it. So you can get the same route combinations you're looking for, but you can definitely hit that Y right there. And also, if you don't like your look or the user's there, then you just go to your comeback.
yeah.
That's one of those things where it's a frustrating thing, but that's why you got to know the strengths and weaknesses of a defense. If the guy's doing a corner route, cover three seam is great because he's going to play outside leverage. If he's going in the seam, he is going to give you that inside ability to catch the ball. So making sure you're there as a user to take that quick snap throw or whatnot. It all depends on take advantage of it on offense. I guess is my best way to put it.
Yep. Seahawks, where should you put your best receiver in the slot? So you can't. That's not one size fits all. Depends how you run your offense, right? So for instance, in Giants, for me, the way that I run it, and I think Antcap is pretty similar with me. My outside receiver to the right runs a lot of bomb plays right now for me. So what I like to have there is my receiver who's taller, who has long stride with his running style, and good speed, so he can get deep down the field for the bomb plays. Now on the slot, I like a guy who has short stride, and I like a smaller body type. So right now I'm actually using Julian Edelman in Ultimate Team. I use Deion Sanders because he was really quick with jet touch passes and stuff like that. I have used Tavon Austin earlier in the year. I liked him a lot. So again, I like that for this offense, for the Giants offense. I like smaller body type, who's quick and can get in and out of their breaks really fast in the slot. And then my two outside guys, I actually like both of them to be able to run deep routes. I also like the taller guys on the outside for those sideline throws. They make those catches a little bit easier. So there's not really a quote unquote best receiver. It's just the style of receiver and how they fit into your offense. Yeah. Do you have anything to add to
Yeah.
that?
I agree with that. I think you have to look at your offense and say what roles and what routes do I use with each player. A slot guy could easily be a tall receiver if you're running a lot of corner routes with him, like say at a bunch, and you want to make that catch on the sideline, and that's the route that you like. You don't want to have a 5'8" guy try to make catches on the sidelines because their catch radius isn't that great, and it's gonna be harder to stay in, right? But you know, and that same player in a different formation is the guy that's running all your return routes and your whips and all that. You don't want a guy that's huge and tall because he does run it slower. So it really have to look at what is your offense, what routes do you like to run, and then go there. When in doubt, I like to do like the mid range guys. So like right now, like say a CeeDee Lamb at like the 6'2" range, the 6'1" guys. I think Joe Horn came out. I don't know what OBJ is. I think it's like 5'11", but
He is.
those guys, yeah, are kind of in that in between range. I like it between 6 and 6'2" if I have them running a lot of different things. I like them taller and like the Randy Moss type. Um, if you're looking for a guy that wants to extend the field for the bomb, and then basically the Edelman type. If that's all you use is that guy to get in and out of cuts quick and whatnot, and he's just filling in between the numbers and you really aren't throwing it outside, get those short, smaller guys. That's all based upon your offense and what routes you're asking them to run.
And Cap, can you answer Hovey's next question about college football?
Speaking of college football, is their playbook is similar to many Madden playbook, playbook that get passing running. So there are some that are like pretty similar. Like USC and Washington Commanders are very similar. I know there was our Seahawks and was I think Alabama are very similar.
Yeah, that was it.
Um, if you look at some of the playbooks out there when it comes to just styles of like offensive coordinators that came from one spot to the other, they tend to have those elements in them. So you kind of look at it that way. So it just really depending on the style that you're doing. I think Oregon is going to be more of your uh, traditional type of NFL style offense, if I remember correctly, trips tight end and bunch. When I say that, just what you know from Madden. A lot of your Madden pros start out in Oregon, but they do have a lot of different things that's different than that. But there are some correlations between playbooks for sure.
We got one more question in the Discord right now, and then we're gonna start to catch up on the Twitch question. So, FC asks, "How do you stop outside runs like jet sweep and toss?" So, jet sweep is a little bit different. I just use their jet sweep. I think it's the easiest thing to do because you can see when it's coming. You can see the quarterback's hand motion go. So if I see that, I'll just set up my defense here that I would be running. Say I'm just in cover 3 cloud, and I set up my defense like this, right? If I see this hand motion, I'll do one of two things. If I know that he's running it, I'll switch on to the safety and come down. So if I see that hand motion right there, I'll just come down right here and really just run into the backfield and cover it myself. It's hard with two controllers to do this, but I do that a lot. You can also just use your user here if they're doing it. So again, you see that guy's motion, you just run out here again and just blow it up like that. Again, you can see the quarterback waving his hands, right? So when we go to say high care, watch the quarterback. You see how he moves his hand like that? It's a different movement than a normal motion, right? So if you understand what that looks like, I just run into the backfield and hit that myself. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Um, Outside runs in general, though, if you run a cover 2 style defense, those are going to be better for you. And I'll show you why here. So if we come out in cover 4, let's come out in, yeah, here. Come out in cover 4 quarters here, right? Let's say that our opponent is wanting to run to the outside. So if we look at our run fits here, you can see how both of our safeties are in the run fit, right? So you see how those outside corners are not in the run fits. So it's a little bit easier for them at times to get outside leverage because our corners are going to back up and they're not going to play the run initially. Now, if we go to a cover 2 style defense, you can see those outside corners are now in the run fits. Okay, so those safeties are not in the run fits now. So this is just going to get us a little bit better coverage to the outside with a guy who's wider and who's able to really force that ball back into the middle where the rest of our defense is. Again, just based off of understanding the run fits, that's going to really help. And again, cover 4 defense is going to be a little bit better for up the middle runs because, again, you have those safeties coming downhill to stop the run up the middle. And then, again, cover 2 is going to have your outside corners in the run fit here, as you can see. So I would just base more out of a cover 2 defense if you're really struggling against it. But certain formations, you can attack the run in certain ways. So, for instance, this single back wing pair stretch, when they flip it, this is one thing that I do. So I'll come out and cover 3 or 3-3 odd, cover 3 cloud. I'll show blitz, pinch my line down. You see how that corner goes all the way to the slot corner goes all the way to the right. I'm going to blitz him over there and then blitz my safety on the left. And a lot of times, because it looks like it's overloaded to the left here, they're going to flip this play. It's not going to, there we go. Flip this play, and you're going to see my safety's going to come in free and make the tackle every single time. So, against certain formations, there are ways you can set up a defense. We talk about some of those in the game plan as well. But just a general rule, cover 2 is going to be better for your outside style runs. What's the best adjustments to stop flats and run plays in 3-3 out? So the best adjustment to stop a flat in general is just shading down and putting hard flats on the field. To stop the run, it just depends what you're facing. Like I said, cover 4 is always good against inside runs. Cover 3 is a good balanced run defense, and then cover 2 is good for those outside runs. If you don't know what they're running, what I like to do is I will come out and cover 3 cloud. I'll show blitz. I pinch my line down, and then I blitz one of these safeties. Now, the reason why I do that is when you blitz them, first of all, if we keep this guy in his normal, let me look at this first, right? This is the normal play here. If we look at the run fit, you see how neither of our safeties or the outside corner to the left is in the run fit, right? If we blitz that safety on the right, he's now in the run fit. Okay, and then I'll user the other safety. So now I've added 10 guys to the run, I've added 2 guys to the run fit, but now there's a total of 10 guys to the run fit, or in the run fit, right? So we're just having more people react to the run. We're going to come down here, and there's just not a lot of space for them to run the ball. So that's what I like to do if I know they're running it. So again, cover 3 cloud, I like to show blitz, pinch line. I like to blitz one of the safeties, and I'm going to user the other. I typically blitz the strong side safety, wherever the tight end's at, and I user the backside guy here. And that's just to add extra people in the run fit and make it a little bit easier there. If you come out in cover 2 and adjust the outside DB to deep zones, do they still play the cover 2 run fit? Yes. So whatever you base in. So if we're in cover 2, what he's asking here, again, the outside corner. And again, in certain cover 2s, you're going to see that the one outside corner is not in the run fit, depending on alignment. So you can see here it's the slot corner and the outside corner to the left. So be aware of that when you're running certain cover 2s. 3-3 odd is one of those. But you can see that outside corner to the right is he's the forced defender if the run's going to the right, because he's in his cloud flat in cover 2. If we would switch this to a cover 4 defense, right, you're going to see he's still the forced defender. Nothing changes over there. Whatever their initial responsibility is in the run fit, they will stay in that. Like I said, unless you blitz them. Blitzing somebody will put them in the run fit if they were not. I do not think there's any way to get somebody out of the run fit if they start in it, other than switching the play. Do you know, Antcap? I think if they're in the run fit, I think they have to stay in it. Like I said, if they're not in it, you can blitz them, and they'll play the run, but I think that's...
The original run fit that they're in, they stay in. But opposite example, right? Like if you're in cover 4, and you take your 2 middle safeties and put them in outside, in deep halves. Those guys are still going to be in the run fit because they originally were in the run fit. So you got both items, right? Because the way he did it in there to cover 2 and turned it to cover 4, those safeties are not going to help you because they're not in the run fit. Cover 2 safeties are not in the run fits. So you just got to understand, depending on what you're looking for. If somebody only runs outside plays and you want to run a cover four shell, that's a good idea to take a cover two and turn it into a cover four shell because you're getting the benefits of the outside players helping you in the run fit. Vice versa, if you want to run a cover two shell and people only run up the middle on you, then you might want to start in a cover four because you're going to get the run fits up the middle. So it's just understanding which coverages are going to help you with what style runs.
Yep. And just proof of this, of how I actually use this to an advantage in game, is when people run this dollar, right, and they go double safety walk down, and then they go to crossfire, right? When they go to crossfire, I know that, first of all, the base crossfire here, you can see the left safety is not in the run fit because he's in the inside third, right? Inside thirds are never in the run fit. So you can see there, that safety on the left is on, he's not in the run fit. So it's always going to be the safety that's opposite of the D tackle shade. So if the D tackle is shading right, the left safety is not going to be in the run fit. Even if they set up quarters, like they do a lot, right? Shade down, whatever it is, this guy's still not in the run fit. So unless they're using this guy, he's never going to play the run first. What you're going to see here is I like to run right at him. I like to run to the left here, and you're going to see that safety is going to back up. Now, that time, the looper on the right got in, but I want you to see the safety here. And honestly, quick base probably wasn't the best idea there. But this safety here, I want to attack him because I know he's not in the run fit. You see how he's backing up? Look at this safety compared to this safety. You see how this safety stays down and he's immediately playing the run? He's not backing up, right? This guy is backing up. So a lot of times what will happen is people are running this loop, right, where they're going to set up this loop here, and they're going to do something like this. They're going to use this guy, especially when people used to bring this guy out here. I would always go to this. Because again, I knew that this guy over here on this side was backing up, and it would just give me a lot of space and consistency in running the ball. So FCX, if you do, it's when you're in man or zone. FCX run fits, you're gonna look at them the same way. I believe on PlayStation you have to push right trigger, or sorry, R2, then L2, and then if you want to check a run fit to the left, you'll do square, and then if you want to check a run fit to the right, you'll do circle. So you can see here though, like this is a man coverage run fit, right? The guys who are in man coverage, not on the running back. So anybody that's on man coverage on a receiver, they're not going to be in the run fit, right? They're going to play their receiver first. So they all change. It depends on what you're facing. Ooh. But we got through everything in the Discord. There are some questions here in the Twitch that we're going to get to as well. And again, if you guys have any more questions in the Discord, put them in there. And Hovey, I will get to I'll try to show you what I'm talking about in that play before I get off too. So Cap, how to stem a route. So if we come out in a pass play here, let's just come out in the spot here. Not every route can be stemmed, right? So like that spot route, I don't think that can be stemmed. But you see like the corner route to the A. If you do an individual adjustment, so you do Y, you do the receiver, you want a custom stem. So we do A, and then you're going to hold left bumper. Now, when you hold left bumper, you have two options. You can either use the D-pad. So if you do the D-pad up, it's going to go at 5-yard intervals. And if you go down, it's going to do 5-yard intervals, as you can see here. You can move this to any depth that you want. And then you can use the left stick as well, and that's just going to go 1-yard increments. So you can tap it, or you can just drag it. You can see here, you can drag it to an exact spot. Rather than going just at 5-yard intervals, you could go all the way down here right away. You could just custom stem it all the way down. If you wanted to go up to here, you can do whatever you want there. So those are the two ways you can do it. Again, not every route can be stemmed. If you look to the left here, though, that route can be stemmed there. I don't know if the Y can. Yep, the Y can there as well. Typically, anything that has a vertical route, right? Or vertical stem to the route.
Yeah, for the most part, there are some that are like some routes you can stem when they are like pivot routes. Some you can't. Probably depends on the vertical stem of it. Even some that like the stack by flex, we can't stem that one, but we can stem a couple other ones that are very similar. So there are some like special cases here and there, but that's basically it. And then one of the other things that you want to know is that in this game, unfortunately, stemming routes that are flipped doesn't work the same way. And then there are some workarounds around it, but just understand that it may just be that you're calling the play flipped and it won't let you stem. So what you have to do is you have to stem it and then flip the play in order to get the stemming.
Yeah, for instance, if we're in Y off trips nasty, we come out in double cross, but we come out in this play called flipped. What you're gonna see is if I go to custom stem this X on the left, you see how he's not moving at all, right? But if we come out with this to the right in a normal one, you can see that B, this my thing's bugged, but you can see there how we were able to stem it. There's a bug too, but you can see there how I'm able to stem that up. Now, once you stem it, if you flip your X receiver now, who's the opposite side of the field, he's going to be the same stem that you did to the right. So that's what Antcap's talking about there, just so you guys can see that visually.
And there are some other things that are a little bit funny about the game as well. Like, I'll show you an example. Like if you want to call corner strike at a gun type Y off weak and run it to where you flip the play to where the C route is on the left side of the field.
Which play?
Corner strike. Yep. So there's ways here. You see this X. If you stem the X up, say one spot, and you don't see it, right? And then you flip the play. Now you can see how the B. Now stem up the B, and then the X goes up. I don't know if it's. I don't know. You're actually getting the visual bug. So I think you got the visual bug because you can see the X is actually up. Start over with it. I'll show you basically what it is. So I think I'm not sure if you got the visual bug originally. If you stem the X up, right, and then you flip the play.
My B's already going up. Is that supposed to happen?
If you flip the play, the B should be way up. So I don't know how many times you're stemming up the X.
I just did once on the D-pad.
Yeah, just do it like 5 times, just so it's easier to see. Right, and then if you flip the play, see how that guy goes over there. So there are ways that by stemming one side, it can stem the other side. There are some different things. There are different plays like that. So just understand that if you see some weird things out there, it's because the way the game is coded that it will allow you to stem one side of the field and the other person works when you do it. So that's just I would say more programming bugs, but you'll find that in some places as well.
Glory, can you explain how to switch stick? For some reason, it makes me hit stick or won't switch me on the player. I appreciate it. Yeah, so switch sticking is all about practicing in your individual defense. Switch sticking is going to be a little bit different in dollar than it is in 4-3, even 6-1. It's going to be a little bit different in a cover 4 defense than it is in a cover 2 defense. So whatever you really base your defense out of, you want to know, most importantly, how to switch stick in that. Also, when you're talking about hit sticking, my guess is you're blitzing your user. If your user's blitzed, you cannot switch stick off of him with the stick. You can push B to switch to a defender who's in a zone or man, and then you could switch stick from there. But for instance, like in 3-4 odd, 3-3 odd, one of my base setups here, what I like to do is I'll come out in cover 3 cloud. I'll show blitz. I'll do something like this, right? This is a defense I run a ton of. I'll user this guy here instead of this guy because I want to be a quick switch stick to the right. The cloud flat, right? Because that cloud flat, if I see a corner route, I want to switch stick to the cloud flat and take that away. If I'm using this guy, I have to go through this yellow and then to the outside guy. Or I could go up to this guy and then to the outside guy. But I can't get straight to that cloud flat unless I get lucky. If I use this guy, there's no other zone between me and the cloud flat now. So it's just one simple switch stick down and to the right. I do it down and to the right just a tad, almost like a 4 o'clock on a clock. Just because if I don't want to accidentally go up to that safety. What you'll see here is they'll say hike. We're going to now be able to switch stick over there quickly to that corner and know that that's where we're going to go with that. And I'm setting up a lot of my defenses with that as well. So if I'm on this guy, again, I know that it's going to be, let's say that I want to get to the outside corner to the left, right? So I know I could do it 2 ways. I could either go down and to the left and then up and to the left, or I could go up and to the left and up and to the left, right? So if I say hike and I go up and to the left, I'm now on this outside corner over here, and then I can switch stick back down if I want as well. So in terms of getting to the right guy, just a lot of practice, understanding how your right stick movement is going to get to certain players. But just, again, understanding what zones you have to go through to get to that player, too. right? So if I'm over here and I want to get to the cloud flat, I got to fight through this guy, and this guy to get over here consistently. Whereas if I start on this guy, again, I can get to that cloud flat. Again, right when they say hike, I can switch over here and I know I'm going to be on that guy there. So that's really all about it. And again, understanding the route combination that your opponent's running is very important. One tidbit I talk about a lot: don't switch stick if you're running man or match. I think it's just too hard to navigate. You're going to take people out of position too much. Zone is where you're going to want to switch stick the most. And just, again, understand when you switch stick, your guy that you were using is going to go back to the same position that he was in, right? So if we say hike and we're running all the way over here and we switch stick off that guy, he's not going to keep going to the flat. He's going to shuffle back to his original yellow zone there. So, and Cav, I'll have you answer this from Verbal. You guys did a YouTube video a few years back on how zones react in Madden, or sorry, in the red zone. Does it still work the same?
So no. Back in Madden, back then you could go in the zone. Basically, there was something that I called basically an invisible fence where all yellow zones only went to like 1 or 2 yards into the uh, end zone. Your cloud flats all stopped at the 5 yard. There was just like this invisible fence that they would not go past that, no matter what you did with those zones. Um, and it was an easy way to always get back. They did work on that. It was something that people do watch our videos and look at what was from the EA side, and kind of understanding why that was easily something that was able to be manipulated. So it doesn't work exactly the same as it did, but they were literally, your guy would not go past a certain mark depending on what your zone was. And it kind of changed that way. So it does get a little bit better. That's why the back end zone. I understand the logic behind it is because that's where you want to start, but it was just too easy for them to not be able to go anywhere with it. So
Um, Diesel, I will explain that. Yeah, let me catch back up to all the other questions here, and I will show you that. Quiz, yeah, I think that's how it is on PlayStation. I think you have to do right or R2 first and then L2. I think if you do L2 then R2, it doesn't work. I don't have a PlayStation. I'm just going based off of I worked with somebody once. And that was what we came about. Spam and RPO says question cube defense. Answer no. If the question was can you score on the cube defense, the answer is no there. Appreciate you tuning in. Do you have to use switch stick to be competitive? I believe yes. I think to be the best defensive player you can, I think you have to.
I think the word competitive is subjective. I think, in my personal opinion, you can have success without using the switch stick. If you want to be a top player in, top 50, top 100, I think that the switch stick is what separates the ability to play defense in this game, because the game isn't great when it comes to being able to react to everything that somebody's going to give you. So it does help. I think competitive is different, right? Like you can go a whole game without using the switch stick and win games. It's not like that. But you're holding back yourself from your potential of playing defense if you don't use it.
Yeah. No, that's and when I meant competitive, definitely like the highest of levels. But just being a competitive player, being a good player, you don't have to use it. I think if you perfect it, it'll improve everybody on defense. That's the easiest way to answer it. If you're good at it, it will not make you worse on defense. Now, if you're not good at it, it can definitely make you worse on defense. So make sure you're good at it, because you can give up a lot of easy touchdowns and easy big yard plays if you do not understand how it works.
To me, if you don't understand what's coming and you don't have good route uh, combination recognition, you're doing yourself a disservice of trying to switch stick all the time. It's more for like you have to understand that what you think's coming or what route combinations that you're going to see. You got to be ahead of it. It's one of those. If you're behind, the longer you wait on knowing what it is, the less your switch stick is going to be effective. So I think sometimes people want to jump into what's the most best way I can put this, like because it's you see it on the MCS and people are crazy switch sticks and they go this. They're not doing it recklessly. They're doing it because of certain things, right? They're having a pre-plan where I know I'm going to cover this stuff, and if I see this guy go on a vertical route, I know I've got nothing over there. I need to switch stick to my cloud flat so I'm going cover a zone I don't have. But if that slot guy goes and runs a drag, I know that I'm not going to be affected by a deep route. I don't need to switch stick to them. So there's more than just meets the eye on why people switch stick to what they do. So I would suggest learning route combinations of what you see ahead of time before you just dive in and say, I have to switch stick to be competitive, right? If you don't understand the game first, switch stick's not going to help you. So it's really just kind of one of those that um, kind of put your learning curve on the right path, or you're not going to be good at switch sticking.
Yep. Quiz, I put that in the Discord chat because we just talked about it right before you got in here. So after I upload today's episode, go to about an hour and 20 in the video because we talked about 10 minutes ago. And I do a little bit more of a deep dive on how to get better at switch sticking. So yeah, about an hour and 20 in because we're about an hour and 30 right now. It was about 10 minutes ago I talked about that. You should be in a good spot there. And look around that hour 20 mark and you should see that. And again, FC, it takes a lot of practice. It's not easy to be great at it. And if you're not good at it, like I said, I would not use it in game. I would just use it in practice mode. And quit. That's absolutely
Or
that's
use it when you're ahead, right?
no,
Like
that's true.
there's
If you're
always
up
times to
20, yep.
practice, right? Like if you're beating somebody, they're not great, just it's time to switch stick, right? There's always learning opportunities in games to where you use those reps, or if you're getting your butt kicked
Yeah,
and you
if
want
you're
to stay in
losing,
the game,
yep.
use it. Like either or, but like if you're in a competitive game and you're trying to win that game and you say, oh, I'm going to start switch sticking, um, and you haven't had the practice or whatnot, you're probably going to do yourself worse of an opportunity unless you've had the experience prior going into it.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say to everybody, both in the Discord and in the Twitch, if you're in a game and if you're blowing a guy out and he's not quitting, my personal opinion, instead of getting mad at that player, use that time to work on something that you're not that good at, right? You can use it still. I've never understood why people would get so. I mean, I understand it. And also, the main reason I said that is on the opposite side of that. If you're getting beat by a lot, don't feel bad if you're actually trying to work on things. Now, don't just grief somebody and act silly and go off sides a bunch to make the time. That's dumb. Don't do that. But if you want to stay in a game against a better player and get that rep, again, you started that game to play 4 quarters. Play 4 quarters and learn how to work on things that you're struggling against a better player than you, and don't feel bad about it if they say anything. Like I said, that is if you're actually trying to do something. If you're not trying to improve and you're just staying in it because you're trying to be petty, I don't like that. But I think it's really important to try to get good reps against good players. And again, if you're getting beat, figure out something that works, right? You're down 30. Try to find a way to score 7 and lose by 23 instead of 30, right? Like, I've learned a lot in games that weren't going my way, or even games that I was just dominating somebody, and I just figured like, hey, I'm gonna learn something here. And if you use every moment of a game of trying to learn for something, um, I think that's a better mentality to have. Again, that's just my personal opinion. You guys don't have to follow that. That's just what I feel. We'll help you guys get
I
better at
agree.
the game.
I agree wholeheartedly. I also think you should read the room. If you're playing a high level player and they're running bunch or no wild close the whole game, and then they start running I form close and running the ball every single time and shooting the clock, you're not going to get any better reps on defense if that's what you're looking for, right? So understand that at that point, they're just saying, I want to get through this game. And if you're trying to get defensive reps, it doesn't make sense. If they're running their offense and you want to get reps against it, that's get reps against it. Like it's a good opportunity to do it. But at some point, know if it's going to be something that you can, benefit from, or you're just wasting their time. Vice versa, right? It's just kind of one of those that you got to see where you're at in the game and kind of go that way, right? But I definitely wholeheartedly agree. You got that opportunity in game, and you want to get try something different, try different things. You're never going to get better if you only do the same things over and over and over again, and don't try to expand your game when you can.
Yep. Absolutely. Quiz, that's awesome, man. It's a nice blitz. Um, it is definitely a nice blitz. What did I saw something that OG Big Ken, there is a new game plan for college football coming. Do you know when it'll be at? I don't know. AntCap knows when more than I do.
We are working with some people. It's one of those deals to where we don't like to give definitives until we know everything is basically ready to get going. But we are working on the next one with what we would consider a college pro, and not myself or Pick'em, somebody else. And once we are able to finalize to get those things going, there will be one soon.
Quiz, it's fun. It's different. It's a lot faster. Um, it's a unique. I'm gonna be playing more college football going forward, guys. Just so you know, MCS is done. Um, I'll be playing more Madden than college football, but there'll definitely be a day or two a week that I play some college football for you guys and tap into that. So I'll be getting back to it. Um, I don't know what Antcap's plans are for him personally, but I like Madden better. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I fully um I love the movement on Madden. I don't like college is too arcadey to me, but it is a fun game to play. And I'll be switching over certain days, like I said, not a everyday thing for me. And again, if you guys like college more, I understand that. It's definitely everything pretty much works the same as well. It's just the movement's different. Obviously, Ancap's talked about hash marks are so different, so it changes route combinations a little bit, but um, similar. The games are coded essentially the same, so it's just again there are a few differences. Like I said, the movement's a big one, and then hash marks are obviously different as well. Um,
I'm not 100% sure on what my plans are. I do feel like I want to get into college football a little bit to make sure that you know um, there is a big crowd that we have in our community that likes it. So if I can help with that, but I don't want to play something I don't enjoy just to play it. Um, and I think that my biggest thing with college football right now is that um, not having a cut team, I have to build that up first in order to use playbooks that I want to use, not just use a team in the playbook. And I think that's like the most frustrating part for me. Like if they allowed us to change our playbooks on that, you know, I think I would have been in it a lot quicker and a lot more. But trying to build both teams up and stay up with both is just a lot. So I just got to find what my, um, basically what I enjoy on it.
I will
But
say I'm happy that I did Madden first because college football is a lot easier to build a team than Madden. Griff sent me a card today. The Igbinoso, the Ohio State corner, I think he's a 90. What was he? What overall was he? Griff, are you in here? Like 96 overall, 97, 90. I don't know. He was like one of the better 96 overall. He's one of the best corners in the game. He has 250K. He'd be 4 million in Madden. Griff sent me that today. I was like, that's true. Like you could probably build a really competitive team in college football for 1 million coins. I'm not joking. Like an
we need to get
entire
that.
team.
We need that Madden to college football conversion rate, where if you take a certain amount of coins, you want to convert to college, that we be able to use what we've done in Madden to help us start a team on college.
That'd be beautiful.
But I don't
That's
see
a,
that ever
yeah,
happening.
that's it. 98 with 99 speed and he's 200,000 coins. Like
Yeah.
you can build some college
Well, how
a team.
easy? I mean, is it relative? Is it how easy it is to get coins in college? And I know it's cheaper cards are cheaper and all that type of stuff. Are you sitting on a stack of 3 million coins? You sitting on a stack of 20 million coins, right? Like, what
Getting
is
coins
the?
is difficult. Griff, if I win the gauntlet, how many do I win? I'll win 2 million if I win the gauntlet. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what Saturday 2 million is.
if I do it Saturday, I think he's saying, because they just had a new season.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'll just run duo. I'll run duo. I'll build up my offensive line, and we'll rock with them. But I might build my team up soon in college. Just try it out. I want to play it. I do. I like the uniqueness with playbooks. It's different than Madden. I do like Madden better. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't lied.
I could tell you what's going to put me on cut is if they go unstoppable like they did last year, and every player has it and does get off, and I need that rage moment. I'll probably start playing college for a little bit until the game evens itself out. Um, so if you guys want to root for that, that'll get me there. But I really feel like it's just a matter of once I get a little bit more free time to, I feel like we slow down a little bit more in Madden, which we always do. Like after the Super Bowl, it's a little bit less. Because we go really hard for those first 6 months, and then we obviously we do content throughout the year, but um, a lot of people are established with what they want to run and all that stuff and whatnot. Um, that's where we could breathe a little bit more life into college football. So, not saying that it's around the corner, but it could be. It's really just a matter of where we're at.
He did a team for, or you said Decroft did a team for 200K on Gauntlet. Like I said, I guarantee you I could get close to winning the Gauntlet. If I think I have 200,000 coins in my account right now. I think that's about all I have. I might get on. I might try to do it this weekend. We'll see. I know Ohio State has a good theme team. They better. We just won the national championship. Let me catch back. There's a couple questions here that I missed. Yeah, glory to God. That's not a glitch. Persistent will reduce the X factor requirements down. And I'm assuming they just found one for Gronk that was, again, his normal one was 2, and they got it with 1. That's not a glitch. It's just certain ones that you can take advantage of there. Fear and shoot. I don't even know what I'll run on. I will run the ball a lot on college. I will tell you guys that. Like I said, switch stick you're going to see all the time at the highest level, but you don't see it as much at lower levels or even intermediate levels. Like the Madden Bowl, you're going to see switch stick everywhere, right? That type of the highest level is what I'm referencing. But best way to get better at hit sticks. This year hit sticks are pretty easy.
They're easier than they have been in the past.
Yeah.
I feel like they're definitely less skillful this year, just from a. I feel like it's got built-in enforcer, right? Like you don't have to time it as well to land a hit stick, where in the past you had to. But best way to get hit stick, honestly, is I use the analogy of like trying to draw a charge in basketball is understand where the player's going and beat him to the spot, and then lead, right? If you can anticipate where they're going to cut, they're going to anticipate where they're going to go, how to square them up. You're just trying to get to where they're going before they get there, and then line them up and hit them. Right. I think that's the easiest way I can explain it. And if you're trying to hit stick people where they're at rather than where they're going, you're going to have less success.
Yep. Ancap's really good at his sticking too, guys. So listen to his advice. I've been cut sticking a lot lately, guys. Those big running backs, it works really well. Shaq Sizzle. Go ahead.
I got one. And if that doesn't work, just picture everybody that has Pickham's bobblehead on them, and just for some reason, it just helps with the motivation, and you just kind of fall in line with that.
Yeah. Just picture me out there. Picture me on the player, and that's what Antcap does. He has a GIF that he uses sometimes in our Discord where it's Sean Taylor hitting that punter in the Pro Bowl, and you'll never guess who is on the punter's face. It is me. Shaq. Side question: if anyone knows how do you get the conference and wild cards for the playoff challenges? I've done all challenges and playoff road to Super Bowl. I don't think you can. I think you only do one of the 3. So if you already did the divisional, then you can't do the conference or the wild cards. And if you did the wild card, you can't do the conference or the divisional. If you did the conference, you can't do the divisional or the wild card. Shaq, I think you can only do one of those sets of challenges based off of when you use that card. What are the rules for read and react? Do they need a certain number of true linebackers on the field? No. You need linebackers on the field, though. If you put safeties in at linebacker, they will not read and react. So you don't need a certain... Now, if you have 3 linebackers let's say let's say you're in dollar and you have one safety and one linebacker at your linebacker positions, your safety will not read and react. Your linebacker will. So again, players that are out of position at linebacker will not read and react, whereas if you use a true linebacker, they will. So, I mean, you're going to get better read and react the more linebackers you have there, just because obviously you're not going to have somebody. But again, if you're using a safety, you can read and react yourself. What are some good offensive playbooks? I'm using Colts right now. Flair, if you go to our YouTube channel, I'll put the link in here. We just did a video 3 days ago where we talked about good offensive playbooks in the game right now. Giants is our favorite. It's the one that we run the most. But we talked about Colts, we talked about Eagles, we talked about Chargers, we talked about run and gun. I think I mentioned run and gun. We also talked about Bucks, I believe, were the 5 that we talked about in the video. We talk about why they're good. But again, there's also other ones that are tough as well. Some people are using Lions. I know I think easy is some people. I mean, obviously, if you want U-trips, you're going to go Patriots or Bills. 49ers, I know a lot of people are using lately. So there's a lot of options this year. But I did know some people were talking about abilities earlier in the game. Linchpin's the best if you run a lot. If you were talking, I saw you guys talking about that. Run Protector is good as well, but it's on an individual player. Run Protector essentially is going to be Secure Protector in the run game, because Secure Protector is good against the run or the in the run and the pass game. Run Protector is going to be Secure Protector for only the run game. So if you have enough just to put it on one guy, and you can put it there. Nasty Streak is really, really good in the run game as well. So if you run the ball a lot, Nasty Streak, I would say, is my first pick on my guards and center, depending on scheme, but typically those are going to be the guys I want to put it on. Guards first. Then I would say Linchpin, and then I would say Run Protector. All of them are good. Polar Elite's also solid as well. So, Free did mention that I was using Linchpin. I was using Linchpin when Zero Chill was out, when we had the 0 APs. I'm not using it anymore. Just because I don't want to spend AP on it right now, because I think that I can run well enough, regardless if I'm using it or not. Linebacker react better than safety in the box. Yeah. So Deuce, there's a was it 3 years ago, Ant?
I don't know what you're gonna say. So
When they added read and react. About 3 years ago.
I'm terrible with time.
Me too. I like 2-3 years ago, Deuce, they added something in the game called read and react, where if you run the same run call over and over from the same formation, your team starts to react to it quicker, and they're going to play it quicker. Linebacker, if you put a safety at linebacker, so for instance, here in this formation here, nickel 3-3 out, if I put Kyle Hamilton at linebacker and I put, or LaDainian Tomlinson's a linebacker here, just put Jimmy Graham here, right? And I play something like cover 2, and my opponent runs the ball. Typically, you're going to see, just in general, was the worst one to pick. Why did I do that? Typically, in general, you're going to see the linebacker react quicker in the run game versus the safety who's playing linebacker. Okay? Now, again, in practice mode, you can't really get the true read and react to, because I'm not running the same thing over and over. But safeties who are put in a linebacker position do not react as quickly in the run game, is what I was referencing. Read and react, any linebacker's fine, just. So if you put a left outside linebacker, middle linebacker, they're fine. Run Protector Pre-Lit Poe has been really good, and it's free. Yeah, if you're not spending AP, it's definitely nice. Appreciate all the follows as well. Saints is also a good playbook, yep. Y'all site is so helpful, by the way. Thanks for posting all the info, y'all. Do it makes it so much easier trying out new playbooks. Absolutely, Ash. Absolutely. Eagles team should be pretty good in the Super Bowl promo. I think the first promo is the pass, though, isn't it? Ash, so I don't know how much the Eagles will get on the past one, but yeah, so if you're running safeties at linebacker, I would recommend only doing one and using that player. Especially if you're worried about the run game. If you're not worried about the run game, it's not that important. Griff, I will look and send you how many coins I have. I don't know how many coins I have, but I would really appreciate that, actually, just to get started, because just to get started for sure. Yeah, I will show you the David T. I know that you guys asked about that. So the David T loop, Dawkins could get one. Yeah. Did Dawkins play in the Super Bowl in 04? Was he on that team? Yeah. Do you remember?
No, 4.
Would he have been on that Eagles team? I don't remember if he was or not. I think he was.
I think so. I'm trying to remember what his years were. Then he
Oh,
went
he's
to
getting a
the
Legends card. I got you.
Broncos after that. Yeah.
They said he's getting a Legend card. My fault. Well,
Yeah,
that
he
had
is.
nothing to do with the Super Bowl. So 3-3 odd, auto flip off, auto alignment can be default or base. David was running a lot of default. Personnel is important. He was using Nolan Smith at D tackle. The smaller body's definitely more helpful. All he was doing, he was showing blitz, shifting his line to the left or away from this outside linebacker, and then crashing that way as well. And then he was standing here, and then he was attacking the guard, and then just getting the loop to come in. So he would attack the guard. And again, it's also hard. I'll show you where it's really easy. I'm trying to think of what play I could have here. What play do I have that has the short, the Z spot? No.
For,
So if you have
for the
short
pistol.
T's, which is, we talked about this last week on Thursday, the short T's actually make this work better because it's easier for you to contact that guard. This isn't a super consistent blitz. I wouldn't recommend running it a lot. But you can see here how the left guard, see how he takes a big step back to start the play? That makes it hard for us to contact him right away. And that then makes us run into that, run into our player really before we can get to that guard. Yeah, we have to get to the guard before Nolan Smith gets to the guard. But in pistol here, you see how they're shorter T's and you have a little bit better option to attack that guy. So let's see if we can get it here. I didn't get it there either. I'll be honest, I ran this the other day. I ran this last week or so. And I had a lot of success early on, and then I didn't have a lot of success from there. I do like to have that outside foot forward when I was running it. But there you can see it started to come in, but that's all he was doing. There's not anything special to what he was doing. It's just he perfected getting that. And again, the one thing that you can do, which is nice, is now once you get into this show blitz animation, you can hold down, right? So you don't have to worry about going off sides once you get into this animation. So you can see you're able to run down. Again, it's not working for me right now, but that's all he was doing. He wasn't doing anything crazy. But like ANCAP mentioned or was saying, the T's that he was using, or sorry, the T's that Dez had as an offensive player were actually hurting him more than they were helping him, right? So the plays that the loop was coming in, Dez had smaller T's on. He was actually running a certain play, that motion play that had weird T's. I can't do
Almost
that in
all
practice
your
mode.
almost all your motion keys do it. I don't know if in practice mode, but our play in YA off trips nasty. There's a couple of them actually that have it. So you can look at the dagger. I don't know if it's the same way in practice mode, but that play has the T's dagger
It
whip.
doesn't show it, but I think it still does it, if that makes sense. Also, chat, I think the personnel on your linemen matter too, of how they react. Because I was running that, I run this against people sometimes and it works, but there you go. So that's all he's doing, just like that.
Right. But if you guys understand that under the hood, the linemen actually aren't showing on practice mode the right way. Any linemen that attack, whether that's basically three-step drops like your stick plays, your double slants, your pistol plays, and then these auto motion plays, or some of them are scattered in other plays that have these certain type of auto dropbacks. Dez ran it like 5 times in the game. All 5 times David T was come in. Every time that he ran ones that didn't had deeper, he wasn't able to hit his left guard, which basically didn't allow that loop to come in. But he had other pressure because what Dez was doing was he was double teaming and shifting left, and then he was having outside pressure from the right. So it looked like it was a lot more effective. But I think if he understood when it was going to happen and what plays it was going to happen on, he overcompensated on plays he didn't have to because he was trying to find a formula. And that's what happens when it comes to new blitzes you haven't seen before. You got to give David D credit because he came out with something that Dez was trying to learn on the fly. We have the ability to understand this after the fact, right? And then and nothing on Dez. I mean, he's trying to figure out what to do, right? So it's just the way it works. But I don't think personally that that blitz is going to be something that's going to be super meta at all.
It's very hard to do, and it works, like Ancap was saying, against certain things. But here, I mean, you can see this is a perfect rep of what it should look like. It's just it's very hard to get this unless your opponent's running the right plays. And my center right now is doing really well at stepping over. I've been using this Cosme guy at center because he gets 1 AP post up. He's a right guard, but I moved him to center. He's been really good for me. But yeah, that's all he was doing. He wasn't doing anything special. Other than that,
We do have to wrap this up, just because
oh yep
we
yep yep.
got to get somewhere at 10:30. So
It was essentially all it was 4-3 even 6-1. He was just running.
I believe 4-3 even 6-1 is got more chaotic pressure, but 3-3 out has much better coverage behind it, right? Because of the alignment and everything. So you're basically, and the one thing you guys have to understand how good David T was with his switch stick to cover
Yeah, that
spots on the field that most people won't be able to when they run the splits. So just because it looked great and he made it look amazing, one of the reasons why he did is because he had the ability to take away different parts of the field that most people that are going to try the splits aren't as, I guess, skilled at it, and that could definitely affect the way you stop things.
Yeah, and he was also sending that guy off the edge as well, chat, that slot corner, when Dez was blocking certain things just to get added pressure in certain alignments, right? So when he had him in a certain look, he would send that guy in. So again, it wasn't anything crazy. I don't think it's super effective. I would rather run the 4-3 even 6-1 one if I was looking for that pressure. I think there's other pressures that are good in 3-3 odd. I'm not going to be adding it to the game plan. I know you mentioned that, D, so I'm going to be adding it to the Meta Buster this week. So that's where it will be. But yeah, Ancap and I do have to go. We have to get somewhere in 3 minutes here. So I appreciate you guys so much. Griff, I will send you my team. Appreciate all the new names in here today. We had a lot of new people ask questions. We do this every Tuesday. So if you guys want to come out every Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern, we do this for an hour or two, depending on how many questions we have. And then again, if you are sub to the website, you do get the access to watch this back over and over as many times as you want. It'll be in our tip section, and you can just go back through and watch all of this. So again, appreciate you guys so much. Thursday, we have our drop stream. So if you want to tune into our Twitch channel on Thursday, we have drops. And we also do a little bit of a live Q&A in there, about 30 minutes of it. And then we teach something early on as well. So excited about this week. So make sure you guys tune in for that. But appreciate you guys so much. Cap, do you have anything else to say?
No, man. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you guys on Thursday.